With the ongoing writer's strike and SAG-AFTRA strike, a lot of Marvel TV series and movies have been delayed, and a few of them have been postponed indefinitely. Thus, Marvel fans are itching to get their hands on some new Marvel content. That's why we have come up with a few Marvel series you never knew even existed. Imagine your favorite Marvel characters like Iron Man and Captain America, and combine them with the sleek animation styles of Japanese anime, and you'll get the Marvel anime series. We are pretty sure that a majority of you might not even know that Marvel anime series exists in the first place, so let's talk about them. But before we start with the list, we have a small request for you. If you like our content, subscribe to us and like this video. It might be just a simple click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's get started.
But you're just a knockoff. There's only one Iron Man.
Marvel Anime, Iron Man. In the year 2010, Madhouse Animations and Marvel made a deal, resulting in a 4-part exclusive anime series on Marvel characters. Sounds exciting, right? And this Iron Man anime was the first installment of this collaboration. This series follows Iron Man and his adventures in Japan. Why Japan? Well, for some reason, Tony Stark wanted to establish a huge arc reactor in Japan to provide the people with clean, unlimited energy, and that too for free. He also announced his early retirement and pledged not to wear the armor again. He wanted to train the Japanese soldiers and mass produce a new armor for the Japanese people called Iron Man Dio. Well, like always, his plans didn't go how he wanted them to, and his Dio armors get hacked by an unknown group calling themselves the Zodiac. Thus, Iron Man had to get out of retirement to protect Japan from the Zodiac. Along the way, he befriends Dr. Chika Tanaka and new Japanese characters, dropping every new episode. Without spoiling the story for you, we need to tell you that the anime was quite liked by everyone when it was dropped in 2010, but many fans didn't like the choppy 3D armor scenes. Every scene in which Iron Man dons his armor looks cartoonish and less visually pleasing than the live-action version. That's why this anime series still stays underrated till now. But we gotta tell you, the story of this series is dope, and if you love Iron Man and anime, you're going to love it. Go give it a watch. Marvel Anime, Wolverine. Following the year the Marvel anime Iron dropped, Madhouse also dropped another banger called Marvel Anime Wolverine. The story follows Logan discovering that his Japanese girlfriend, who had disappeared a long time ago, is still alive and will be forcefully married to the crime lord Kurahagi Hideki, who is ruling the crime island of Madripoor. Yes, the same Madripoor you saw in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Thus, just like any lover would, Logan goes to Japan to find his girlfriend, and on the way, he has to fight a lot of enemies, including giant monsters, sword masters, and samurais. Also, we got to see a cameo from Cyclops in this series, which set up another Marvel anime. Marvel fans and anime fans were both not pleased with the character design of Logan. In the comics, Logan is short and bulky in stature. However, in the anime, Logan is shown as kind of tall and lean. This is one of the primary reasons fans had a mixed reception to this series. Although if you remove this simple flaw, the series is pretty enjoyable. You'd love the fight scene with the samurais and Omega Red. The story is also pretty straightforward, without many twists and turns. If you are an anime lover and don't care about Wolverine, then you should avoid it. But if you are a big fan of the classic X-Men movies and love Wolverine like he's a piece of your heart, then you should definitely go and give this a watch. You'd love it. Marvel Anime X-Men. This was the third collaboration between Madhouse and Marvel, and what they came up with is another piece of art. The story starts with Jean Grey killing herself to protect the other X-Men when the Phoenix Force possesses her, and she is unable to control its power. Yes, there is no Jean Grey in the anime until the last episode. After the death of Jean Grey, Charles Xavier disbands the X-Men, but later asks them to come together as he cannot reach a place in Japan with his Cerebro, as some unknown power is stopping him from accessing that place. Thus, the original X-Men team comprising Cyclops, Wolverine, Beast, Emma Frost, and Storm are sent to the Tohoku region. When the X-Men rooster arrives at the said place, they find several deformed fish in the river, dead trees, and at least 20 mutants missing, and thus, they start to unravel the mystery of that place and what is going on. The series provides a very intimate feel to all the characters, as we only deal with fewer characters. Each of their backstories is being fleshed out, including Cyclops, who's still coping with losing the love of his life. The character designs are fabulous, and yes, this time, we get to see them in their classic X-Men costume. The best part about this series is its unpredictability about what is going on and who is involved, which are revealed in parts until they connect everything in the end. However, the downside to this series is that it doesn't give any context to the characters. It doesn't even describe their powers, which makes it extremely difficult to follow by anyone other than the fans who are already acquainted with the X-Men characters and their stories. You should watch this because of the mystery elements attached to the story, how the story develops and unravels unravels its mysteries, and how each character falls into place in this puzzle. If you are a die-hard Marvel fan, this series might just be the missing kick you needed in the drought of Marvel content. So, go and watch it. Marvel Anime, Blade. We have all waited for the half-vampire to appear in the MCU for a long time. Our dreams were about to become a reality when the Blade movie with Mahershala Ali was announced, and it was said that it would have an adult rating, but due to continuous rewriting of the script, we still haven't got this movie yet. But don't worry, you can follow this half-vampire hunt down his mortal enemy, Deacon Frost, the one who killed his mother and turned him into a half-vampire. And guess what? Where does this quest for revenge take Blade? Japan. Here, our beloved half-vampire, another female vampire hunter, and Noah Van Helsing tread across Japan in search of Frost, and face a mysterious organization of vampires called the Existence. This was the fourth collaboration between Marvel and Madhouse Production, and had one of the best animation styles compared to its predecessors. The best part about this anime is how it portrays Blade, and shares his story and flashbacks from his past to give context to who he is, and why he turned that way. This gives anyone a context of his story without them even knowing to know who this half-vampire is. Also, the gory horror elements of the story play a huge role in elevating the fight scenes. All in all, if you are a fan of vampire animes and maybe heard about who Blade is, or even if you don't know him, go and watch this underrated piece of art, and you'll realize what you have been missing out on. Marvel Disc Wars, The Avengers. In 2014, Walt Disney Japan and Toei Animation came together to bring this masterpiece to television. The story follows Tony Stark and another Japanese scientist named Nozomu Akatsuki, who together create a new technology called DISC, which stands for Digital Identity Securement Kit. This device was designed to trap supervillains digitally, but things go wrong, and Loki gets his hands on this technology. He uses this technology to trap the superheroes of Earth, including Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, and the Wasp. That's when Dr. Akatsuki's kids, Akari and Hikaru, team up with children Jessica, Chris, and Edward to free their superheroes and capture the escaped villains. The catch was that these kids could use a specific disc attached to one particular superhero and summon them for 5.5 minutes. It's kind of like Pokemon, but instead of Pokemon, we get to see our Marvel heroes coming out of a disc and fighting the battles. The story follows, and many superheroes and supervillains are introduced throughout the series, including the Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Green Goblin, MODOK, Abomination, and many other characters. The anime ran for 51 episodes, and the animation style was closely similar to Dragon Ball Z, although fans didn't like the concept of the story. But it was certainly interesting to see new character designs for our favorite superheroes and villains. Watching this anime would feel like rewatching the Avengers, but in Pokemon style. So if you are a Marvel fan, this anime will take you on a crazy ride, and you'll regret why you missed out on this for so long. Go and watch it now.
Future Avengers, assemble!
Marvel Future Avengers. Again, Walt Disney Japan collaborated with Madhouse to bring something people call the spiritual successor to Marvel Disc Wars. It follows a new story of 3 teenage kids, namely Makatu, Adi, and Chloe, who were raised by Hydra to believe that they are superheroes who will protect the world against the Avengers. The Hydra has genetically enhanced these kids, resulting in them gaining some incredible and unique superpowers. When they were sent on their first mission, Adi and Chloe realized that they had been brainwashed, and the Avengers were actually the good guys. They try to convince Makatu to escape with them, but their plans are foiled, and only Makatu is able to escape. He later informs the Avengers of the secret Hydra base, and the Avengers raid this base to help the other kids escape. After watching these kids' immense potential, Avengers decided to train them under their belt, and thus, we get the title Future Avengers. Throughout the series, we get to see the story of a secret project called Emerald Rain Project that was orchestrated by Hydra and Masters of Evil, and the connection of this project with Makatu. So, should you watch this? Well, if you are a Marvel fan and enjoyed My Hero Academia, this is just the perfect watch for you. And we know we aren't getting any Avengers projects in a long time, or getting back our OG Avengers anytime soon. That's why go give this a watch. It might be able to take you back to the good old days of the Avengers. Iron Man, Rise of Technovore. The collaboration between Marvel and Madhouse Studios didn't end with Blade. They went on to make 2 movies based on Marvel characters, one of them being Iron Man, Rise of Technovore. This movie follows Iron Man, whose friend Rhodey is attacked and seemingly killed, and Iron Man goes after Ezekiel, who plans to rebuild the world with Tony Stark's own technology. But if we were to be honest, this movie neither has a good animation nor a good story, and it feels like they tried to make 3 movies at once, but ended with 2.5 movies in just 1 movie. The story story feels rushed, and nothing makes sense, and it's a torture to watch this movie. We are sure that no one would be able to watch more than 20 minutes of this movie. That's why if you are an ardent fan of Tony Stark, try watching it, but we are unsure if you'd like it.
I won't warn you again.
Last chance, hand him over.
Avengers Confidential, Black Widow, and Punisher. The second movie collaboration between Marvel and Madhouse led us to a weird pairing of Black Widow and the Punisher. The story starts with Punisher being captured by S.H.I.E.L.D., and they find out that Punisher is also after the same arms dealer the S.H.I.E.L.D. is after. Thus, Nick Fury appoints Black Widow and Punisher on a mission to stop Leviathan, a terrorist organization that plans to sell stolen S.H.I.E.L.D. technology in the black market to the highest bidder. Later, they discover that Leviathan is also planning to make an army of brain-dead soldiers powered by superheroes' blood, which was stolen from the S.H.I.E.L.D. compound. Eventually, this story connects with Black Widow's personal life, and we are sure you'll love this cat-and-mouse chase and the revelations it has in space for you. To be honest, this movie is a way better movie compared to the rise of Technovore in terms of art style, theme, and story, and the odd pairing of a vigilante and a spy makes this movie unique. If you want to watch some Avengers content that will keep you hooked until the end, this is the right movie for you. The Monster of Frankenstein. The anime movie is one of the few underrated Marvel projects that a lot of people might be unaware of. In 1981, Marvel made a deal with Toei Animation for 2 movies that would dive deep into the monster universe of Marvel, one of which was this movie. The movie starts with Dr. Victor Frankenstein working on giving life to a dead body, and when he is successful, he is disgusted by his creation. Thus, he pushes the creature out and leaves it to die. But soon, things start taking a turn for the worse at Dr. Victor's home. First, their pet bird is killed brutally, then their pet dog, and then their horse. This is when Dr. Victor decides to get to the roots of what has been happening, and that's when he discovers that the monster he created was responsible for all of this. But they soon become friends when the monster saves Dr. Victor's daughter, and then the story takes a pretty boring tone, but nonetheless, it is still watchable. Since this was a very dark and unpleasant story, with a lot of blood and gore, this anime was not for kids, and only adults above 18 could enjoy it. The art and animation style was of the classic 1980s animation, which you will love if you have watched classics like Akira and Ghost in the Shell. Moreover, this is an interesting watch, but not that special. If you love a lot of blood and gore, this anime is definitely for you. Go and watch it. Dracula, Sovereign of the Damned. The first collaboration between Marvel and Toei Animation in the 1980s was an anime movie focused on Dracula called Dracula, Sovereign of the Damned. This anime movie is based on the Tomb of Dracula comic series serialized between 1972 to 1979. This movie was a mess from a plot standpoint because it tried to cram 74 issues of the comic into a 94-minute movie. The movie follows the story of Dracula, who was fed up with vampire hunters hunting him and moved to Boston. Here, he meets a beautiful woman named Dolores, who is destined to be the bride of Satan, but Dracula marries her and goes on to have a son named Janus. Angry at this, Satan comes back to take revenge on Dracula, and what follows is a mess of a story. An anime series on the same would have worked well. Nonetheless, if you want to see what the real Dracula in the Marvel Universe is like, go and read the Dracula comics, or wait until Blade comes into the MCU, because Blade would inadvertently bring Dracula along with him. We just hope Marvel doesn't kill him in one movie, and make him a big bad in the Midnight Suns movie. Marvel fans would surely love that movie. Marvelous verdict. Although most of these Marvel anime series were pretty good, we'd all love to see what a good production house like MAPPA and Marvel can cook together. Yes, imagine an Avenger or Guardians of the Galaxy anime series created by MAPPA. How cool would that be? We'll just have to be happy with the upcoming animated series of What If and Spider-Man Freshman Year, which are coming out in 2024 and 2025. All we can do is wish that an anime and Marvel collaboration happens soon, and this time with a great story and better animation style. With that being said, if you like our content, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.